Hello everyone, my name's Sarah and welcome to Jurassic Park. Today we're going to talk about the latest film in the Jurassic Park franchise and the fourth installment in the Jurassic World series of films, Jurassic World Rebirth. But before we begin, please give us a like, share and subscribe to the channel. Now strap on your hiking gear, it's time to explore Dinosaur Island. So for those of you who might not be caught up with everything, in the original films, a man named John Hammond and a team of scientists he employed used cloning technology to bring dinosaurs back to life. These massive creatures turned out to be much harder to keep in tamed giant zoos, of course. And so all hell breaks loose. Granted, in the first film everything was working fine until Dennis Nedry hacked the system to steal the embryos, so maybe it could have worked if that hadn't happened. Regardless, lots of people were eaten and subsequent attempts to recapture the dinosaurs and reopen the park failed spectacularly. The same goes for the reboots of the franchise, the Jurassic World series, which eventually sees the dinosaurs able to leave the Caribbean island and travel all around the world, changing Earth's ecosystem dramatically and permanently. This is pretty much where the last film, Jurassic World Dominion, left off, with humans and dinos sharing life on Earth side by side. Jurassic World Rebirth takes place 32 years after the second park's opening. Basically, the plot revolves around the idea that because of waning interest in seeing live dinosaurs, originally a meta joke on people's lack of interest in the film franchise itself, InGen essentially needed to create some Frankensteins, mixing different species genomes together in order to breed some unique hybrids. However, since this was all so experimental, there was plenty of rejects, but instead of wasting the money and killing them off, they banished them to the part of the island where they could study them and run further tests. After the events of the last film Dominion, apparently the dinosaurs are no longer flourishing, and they are just dying off unless they live around the equator. So basically every island and landmass in that zone has been strictly forbidden to anyone wishing to travel there. Enter our first group of protagonists. Yes, the first. You got your standard character cliches in this film. The corporate guy trying to make some big money through illegal means, a mercenary with a heart of gold, some unlikable character extras, the good conscious character, and the sensible boat captain and his crew of ragtag sea dogs. They need to sneak past all the radar detection and boat patrols, enter the no-go zone and steal some dino DNA from 3 specific dinosaurs, because apparently it's magical and can cure a bunch of diseases. And they can't just synthesize it in a lab, even though it was originally synthesized in a lab. You also have your second group of protagonists, a small Hispanic family on a sailboat. You got your Timu version of Pedro Pascal as the dad, Dora the Explorer, her older sister whose personality is I wear short shorts and a wet t-shirt, and her dimwit boyfriend, who I guess was supposed to be the comedic relief, but it's all jokes that boomers think are hilarious. Now, I won't go into full spoilers here. I'll save that for the full breakdown in the next video, but having 2 groups of main characters in the film would be fine if they contributed to each other. But most of the time, the film has them split up into separate groups. They don't even bother to try and mix it up either. Like maybe the Merc and the Doctor end up with a little girl and a dad or something like that, but no. They pretty much meet each other once, get separated, and then meet again at the very end of the film. It feels like the writers came up with 2 different stories for the film, didn't have enough story for either of them, and just mashed them together. Aside from the lackluster plot and character offerings, which we don't even get to really know them through their actions, but rather through some clumsy character exposition dialogue. The rest of the film tries very hard to go back to the horror roots of the original film, and it somewhat succeeds. Yes, most of the quote-unquote jump scares are pretty telegraphed. We were calling them out in the theatres ourselves, but they were fun to see in action, and appropriately gruesome. While the special effects were well done, I was disappointed in the lack of freakishness when it comes to the dinos. Most of them had very little changes made to them, and unless you're a dinosaur expert, you wouldn't have noticed what the hybrid parts were. The ones that stood out, like the D-Rex, were saved for the last quarter of the film. And honestly, it was just like the Cloverfield monster with less shaky cam. So was it worth seeing? Yeah. It was entertaining, not nearly as bad as some of the haters online have been saying. It's definitely not in the same heights as Jurassic Park 1 or even the first Jurassic World, but is a hell of a lot better than Dominion was. It's just disappointing the characters weren't that interesting, outside of maybe Mahershala Ali's Duncan Kincaid. And even then he gave it his all, but his dialogue was so ham-fisted to hammer home that his character has lost a daughter. So at the end, saving this little girl was his duty or his redemption arc. I'd have to say the film gets a 7 out of 10 from me. If you've got some youngish kids at home, this is the perfect family outing with some scary elements, but not too graphic or scary that they'll have nightmares. And you will all have a good time jumping when the dinosaurs snap their jaws at the screen. I want to thank you all for checking out the review. What did you think of the film, or which film in the franchise is your favourite? Let us know in the comments below. Also, if you're curious, become a member of the channel. We post our own ranking of all 7 films as an exclusive video. Make sure to like, share and subscribe to the channel. We do weekly reviews and breakdowns, as well as tons of other videos. I have been your host Sarah, and thank you for being here with me today. Have a beautiful day and take care. Goodbye.